that man's body was found in White Oak Bayou. This is the 7th such discovery in just the past month.
In 2023, it examined 9 bodies in Houston bayous, 20 bodies in 2024, and so far this year, 24 bodies.
If trends hold, Houston is on track to log more than 30 bayou-related deaths before the year is out. And some Houstonians and true crime aficionados are putting on their detective hats and speculating about the worst-case scenario.
You can't possibly keep saying that they're not connected when they just keep showing up and showing up.
I can't believe you, Houston. Another body was found at Buffalo Bayou Park.
So we're just going to pretend that there's not a serial unaliver in Houston, Texas, dumping bodies in the bayou?
It's very frustrating to me to be at home and watch the news or social media and see people spread what I know to be false.
Mayor John Whitmire's frustration is ringing out across the nation's 4th largest city. As of his September press conference, 24 bodies had been found in Houston bayous this year. If that rate holds, there will be 32 bayou-related deaths in 2025, a 60% increase from last year.
Enough is enough of misinformation, wild speculation by either social media, elected officials, candidates, the media. We do not have any evidence that there is a serial killer loose in Houston, Texas.
The reason internet sleuths are leaning toward the idea of a serial killer loose in Houston? The rise in popularity of the true crime genre of podcasts, books, and TV shows. In 2024, 19.1 million Americans said they listened to true crime podcasts at least once a week. That's a nearly 3-fold increase since 2019. Meanwhile, 41% of Americans between 18 and 29 say they regularly listen to true crime shows. That age group also happens to be big-time social media users.
There's no shortage of so-called experts, and I'm putting experts in quotation marks, who pipe in on this. My name is Kim Rossmo. I'm a professor in the School of Criminal Justice and Criminology at Texas State University.
Rossmo is a former police detective who has spent decades researching serial killers. Earlier this year, he published research on the Rainy Street Ripper, a similar conspiracy theory linking the 200 drowning deaths in an Austin, Texas lake over the last 2 decades. His analysis of the situation directly relates to concerns in Houston. Rossmo's research notes homicidal drownings account for only 0.2% of all murders in the United States, most involving children killed by their parents. Rossmo added that serial killers account for just a small portion of all murders, and they almost never drown their victims.
Drowning is really difficult. If you walk yourself through the stages of how you would drown somebody, it just doesn't make much sense at all to do it that way. And even if someone was trying to do this, you would have a lot of failed attempts, and you would have reports of those failed attempts with descriptions of the offender. And it's just really, really rare. And it's not even, it doesn't even fit the motivation of serial killers. These are often crimes of sex and power. So that doesn't make sense either.
Texas is a massive state, streaked with rivers, bayous, and Gulf coastline. As a result, the state's drowning rate is 8% higher than the national average. In a city of 2.4 million people with more than 2,500 miles of bayou, not every drowning death makes the news. But once 24 are reported, it's hard to stop the rumor mill. True crime fans are drawing connections among the incidents, and research shows they're also 4.4 times more likely to call in a tip or offer other information to law enforcement to solve a case. But there are downsides.
So there's 4 harms. 1, resources that could be used to solving a drowning problem are spent on chasing, a phantom serial killer. 2, those police resources that just could be used to solve other real murders. 3rd is you're re-victimizing the family members. Oh, your son drowned, but now we think it's a murder. And then they're all going, oh my God, all these people are saying, our son was a victim of a murder. What's going on here? And then finally, you're unnecessarily increasing fear levels. Our fear levels should be consistent with real risk, not with social media, hype.
Rossmo pointed to onlookers who draw the serial killer connection because the majority of bodies recovered in Houston, 88%, have been men. But that's not the thread you might think it is. In the Lone Star State, 78% of drowning victims are men. Rossmo chalks this perceived connection up to social media apophenia, the tendency to find meaningful connections and patterns that don't exist. Mayor Whitmire has been adamant.
Let me say that again. There is no evidence that there's a serial killer loose on the streets of Houston. If there was, you would hear it from me first.
But his last public comment on the issue was more than a month ago.
We don't have enough information to know whether there is a serial killer or not. I'm Lisa Olson, and I'm a journalist, and I'm author of The Scientist and the Serial Killer.
Olson's latest book is about the Candyman killings, when Dean Corll murdered at least 29 teenage boys in Houston and Pasadena, Texas in the early 70s. The book follows forensic anthropologist Sharon Derrick's quest to identify the unidentified victims.
In America, we have like 40,000 people in our country who are unidentified. It seems like an unacceptably high number for a nation with so much forensic science and so much tech. And a lot of those cases represent unsolved crimes.
But there are still some holes in the Houston Bayou serial killer story for Olson.
There are different ways that serial killers are identified. I mean, sometimes they actually want to be identified as a serial killer. You know, they have signatures, they write notes to the press. Some serial killers in our history have done that. Some serial killers in Texas dumped all of the bodies in the same place, like the so-called Killing Fields, Texas Killing Fields killer, who put 3 bodies in the same spot on Calder Road, the same exact place, not just any bayou anywhere.
Serial killer or not, Olson says it is important to figure out why so many bodies are washing up in the city's bayous.
The mayor saying that homeless people might be pushing their friends into the river because they don't want to bury them is really alarming to me, because it's when people are not counted by society and their deaths are not investigated, or, you know, when even their friends think it's okay to throw them in the river, that crimes get covered up and crimes don't get discovered in the first place.
The sentiment is shared by City Council member Letitia Plummer, who has been vocal about solving the mystery and ensuring safety around the waterways.
I'm seeing, just 5 or 6 of Brays Bayou. If we can kind of put these addresses in a Google sheet and kind of see how close they are. If we're seeing more bodies found maybe in one specific area, would you put signage up? We have to remember, these are people. These are daughters, sons, grandparents, cousins, aunties. These are people. And the fact that we make assumptions about how they passed is just not acceptable.
For Straight Arrow News, I'm Maggie Gordon. For more in-depth reporting, download the Straight Arrow News app or head to san.com.